Ladies and gentlemen, we have three very important topics to get into today. The first topic, when will Bitcoin surpass 30K? The second topic, when will Bitcoin surpass its all-time high at the 69K level? And the third and final topic, when will Bitcoin, in the 2025 bull market, where will Bitcoin top out? At what price point will Bitcoin top out? Now, obviously, all three of these topics are highly speculative, and they rely on the fact that the Bitcoin bottom is in at 15.4K, or at least the third topic does. But the other two are independent of the Bitcoin bottom and independent of the 4-year cycle theory. So regardless of what you think about the Bitcoin bottom, the first two topics will be relevant, which is the all-time high topic and the 30K topic. And the third topic, which is where will Bitcoin top out, is relevant to you if you think the bottom is in. So lots to get into. These are massive questions, obviously, and these will dramatically affect Bitcoin's perception amongst investors and their buying plans, etc., things like that. So big video, guys. Let's get into it. Let's start off with the first topic here, which is the when will Bitcoin surpass 30K, or more specifically 28.6K. Now, I will say that before we get into this topic, this one is the most speculative. This one has the least amount of supporting evidence. However, it is still relevant. The reason why it's relevant is because regardless of the amount of evidence it has to support it, it gives us a rough guideline, right? I'm not going to sit here and claim that this particular trend here is accurate, because it's really not. But again, it's a guideline. What we have in every single bull cycle is essentially a horizontal support line before the bear market really kicks off. And once we break down, we see a final swing to the downside. We've seen it in 2014. We saw that line at 400 USD. We saw it in 2018. We saw that line at 5,700 roughly. And we've seen it in 2021, which was 28.6K roughly, right? So each bull market and each bear market has a horizontal line that acts as support resistance. Once you break it down, you generally see the final capitulation. And once you get back above that line, as you can see in 2015 and as you can see in 2019, you generally see start to swing to the upside dramatically and start to really kick off that next kind of bullish phase. So what we have here is the same thing. And based on previous trends, based on the fact that in 2015, 2016, we kicked off the bullish trend, in 2018, same story after we broke that line, if we're taking out the COVID drop, which is a black swan event, right? What we can really start to understand is that once we do break above 28.6K on Bitcoin, we will actually start to really slant to the upside and really start to see that bullish phase kind of kick off, right? Maybe a little bit of sideways, but ultimately that's the bullish stroke that's going to happen there. So 28.6K, and I've said this over and over and over again in multiple videos for like 6 months now, ever since we broke down from it, 28.6K is needed in order to confirm a full trend reversal. Until that point, it is a speculation. It is an opinion that the bottom is in. Once 28.6K, it becomes a fact that the bottom is in, right? And that's something I've stood by for a long period of time. And so what we need to understand is, well, when will we get above that level? Because I just established to you guys there that once we get above 28.6K, it's highly likely, as per the previous macro structures, that we start to slant upwards dramatically, right? Maybe not like that, but it could be something like this, right? We start to slant upwards once we get above it. So when will we get above it? Well, again, it's highly speculative, but the only way to really understand that is to kind of take measurements of how long we're generally below it, right? Because the market structure, okay, and I said I wasn't going to bring up the 4-year cycle too much in the intro, but I'm going to bring it up here briefly. Market structure repeats because of the 4-year cycle theory, right? There's a reason why this bear market, even in wake of the recession, even in wake of all the stuff going on in macro, there's a reason why this current bear market we're in on Bitcoin has not looked dramatically different to others. Because the market structure, the macro structure, the cyclical structure is stronger than the external events, right? That's why it looks the same. That's why it hasn't gone down much more, okay? And we don't think it will, or I don't think it will at least, right? So knowing this, we can expect a kind of repeat, or at least a rough repeat in what's happened before. And so what we can do is we can just take date range measurements here. When did we break down from 28? When did we break down from a horizontal line in 2014? And when did we get back above it? It took around 441 days, right? 2018, roughly, it took a lot quicker. It was about 168 days. And so this time we can take pretty much an average between those two numbers here. And we can say, well, let's just say roughly 300, right? And we could say, okay, maybe we'll take 300 days this time. Now, again, this is obviously very, 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 very speculative. And of course, I've discussed this when I brought this up. Obviously, two pieces of data that are dramatically diverse is not enough to really make a trend. And it's not meant to make a trend. It's meant to give you a rough indication. So realistically, taking the average between these two numbers, right, we would be breaking 28.6K in April. Now, what I would say is this. I'll give the macro believers, the recession believers and all that kind of thing, which which is fair enough, the benefit of a doubt. And we'll say, okay, it won't take the average, it will take the maximum, which is 441 days. So saying that it takes the same amount of time to break above that horizontal line that it did in 2014, we would break 28.6K, very important, we would break 28.6K in August, okay? That is the latest point in which we could break 28.6K based on the macro trends that we've seen here. Now, again, highly speculative trends. It's not even a trend. It's a very, very rough observation. But that gives you a rough indication, right, of when we could expect to break 28.6K before August 2023, right? That's interesting there. So we're going to say August 2023 just for the sake of the video. It is worth noting, as I said, this particular trend here is speculative. And that's the reason I'm bringing it up first. This is the one that we have the least amount of evidence for. And I suppose you guys can see that through the analysis here. But it is a rough indication. And it does line up with other factors that we'll look into in a second. So August 2023 or before that point, we can expect to be above 28.6K. And that's when we can expect the trajectory of Bitcoin to ramp to the upside. Now, the next trend does add some more validity to this trend, and I wouldn't have brought it up if it didn't, because this is obviously very preliminary. But the second trend, it adds validity to the first trend, and it also is a trend within itself. This trend we're trying to determine, really, when will the new all-time high occur, okay? And this one is much more valid, okay? When will the new all-time high occur? So we've kind of established now that before August or around August 2023, we will be at or above 30K roughly, right? So when will the new all-time high occur? The all-time high was at 69K. When will we reach 70K on Bitcoin? Now, go ahead and ignore these orange lines, okay? Because these are around the halving. In fact, let me remove them. Very simple stuff. All we need to do is take the two previous cycles, right? And again, you could argue here that there's only two data points, okay? But I would argue against that. And the reason why I'd argue against that is because I understand, yes, there's only two data points that say, from top to new all-time high. There's only two of those, and two is not a trend. But I would argue that there's only two on the surface, but once you dig deeper into it, there's actually four data points extending through the 4-year cycle theory, which all line up perfectly. So I would argue this is much stronger than it seems on the surface here. But what you would say to this is, when we'll reach 70K, well, all we need to do is measure in the previous cycles how long it took to go from top in the previous bull market to all-time high again within the bear market and the start of the next bull market, right? On both occurrences, it took 1,100 days, okay? So all we need to do, it's very simple, is understand that, hey, look, we reached the top on Bitcoin in November 2022. If it takes 1,100 days, roughly, okay, like it did in the previous two cycles, which is supported by the 4-year cycle theory, right, supported by other date range trends, okay, we would see a new all-time high on Bitcoin, a new 70K all-time high on Bitcoin in December 2024. So in December 2024, we would see 70K on Bitcoin for that very simple reason, okay? Now, extending that back to the previous trend, which is regarding 30K, we can add in, okay, so we can add in December 2024. That's when we'd see an all-time high. And the reason why August 2023 makes sense from that point onwards is because of this. The distance in time between August 2023, which is when we're expected to get to 30K, and December 2024 is 16 months, okay? So we would have to see in that occurrence a gain on Bitcoin in order to reach an all-time high by that time period. A gain on Bitcoin of around 140%. In that 16-month period, we would need to see a 140% gain on Bitcoin. So what have we seen in previous cycles in a similar 16-month period after we broke the horizontal block? Okay, in 2014, in a 16-month period, which is stemming from around the break to the upside here in November, which would take us through to what, March 2016, okay? March 2017, sorry. In that period there, from November 2015 to March 2017, which is around 16 months, we saw a 195% gain, right? 2018, let's look into it. So it would be April 2019 when we broke to the upside to around July-ish 2020, and that is a gain of around 120%, okay? So this adds validity to the first argument because we have a 16-month gap between when we're expected to get to 30K and when we're expected to reach a new all-time high. In that period, we're expected to do a 140% gain. And in previous periods, we've done similar gains of around 140%, with 190% in 2016 and 120% in 2018, 2019. Okay, so this adds validity to the argument. So we can then conclude, right? Yes, it's preliminary. Obviously, it's not an actual trend. It's speculative, okay? It's meant to be a guideline. It's a guideline. It's not an actual fact. It's not a prediction. It's a guideline. We can still expect, based on this, which supports both claims, that Bitcoin reaches 30K by August 2023 and reaches an all-time high by December 2024. That is what we can expect based on that. Now we can get into the strongest trend of them all and the most important question of them all, which is based on the 4-year cycle theory. When will Bitcoin reach an all-time high and at what price will it be? I want to briefly interrupt this video to talk about the Bitget Exchange. The Bitget Exchange has 5 times lower fees than Binance on futures. It has 0 spot fees for spot trading, meaning you can trade spot for entirely free on every single coin. It has a rewards center. It has a protection fund. It has events regularly run. For example, the FIFA World Cup event it ran recently was in partnership with Messi, the famous football player. There are many, many reasons to sign up using this exchange here, but if you sign up using my exclusive referral link, which you can find a link to in the pinned comment or description, you will get a further 15% decrease on futures fees, and you'll get access to an exclusive reward center in which you can gain access to 4,000 USD in rewards via completing various tasks of various difficulties. Signing up to this exchange using my referral link is by far the best way you can support the channel, and it's the best way you can support yourself as a trader, gaining access to the cheapest exchange on the cryptocurrency market. Now, for my viewers from the United States of America, when you're signing up to the exchange, click on Other as country of residence, as you can see I'm doing on the screen now, and you will be able to sign up and use the exchange normally as a non-KYC customer. You'll be treated exactly the same as everyone else in the exchange. So please sign up using my referral link. Thanks for watching the advertisement. Let's get back into the video. So the first 2 trends we looked at in regards to when Bitcoin will reach 30K and in regards to when Bitcoin will reach an all-time high are child's play, okay? They are child's play because they are not particularly strong. They are highly subjective to individual analysis. They are highly, I guess you could say, preliminary in terms of evidence for those claims. But this one, I would say, is very strong, right? And the reason I'd say it's very strong is because the 4-year cycle theory, a lot of people like to discount it. A lot of people like to say it's ridiculous. Guess what? It's worked out perfectly on both occurrences in the last 16 months, 18 months, and people didn't think it would. Guess what? It did, right? November 2021, right? Worked out perfectly. We topped out against all odds. We topped out in November 2021. The stock market was still going up, still went up for an extra 3 months, and we topped out, right? Guess what? Stock market is in a recession right now. Everything's terrible. Macro economy's bad. We still bottomed out at this point in time, at least currently, in November, as per the 4-year cycle theory, perfectly as expected, right? Almost perfectly as expected. So to act like the 4-year cycle theory is wrong or it's faulty is ridiculous, because at this point in time, it has been the most accurate thing we've ever seen on Bitcoin. Not only is it based on, date range trends, it's also based on the halving, it's also based on the presidential cycle, which gives it a basis in traditional markets as well. Very, very strong trend. So we can use the 4-year cycle, obviously, to predict the date of the next top, and we can also use it to predict the price of the next top. Let's get into it. So predicting the date is very simple. Okay, we can't predict an exact date, but we can predict a rough estimate. It's very simple, right? All we need to do is extrapolate further. We've got, as you can see in the color-coded writing here, we've got multiple date range trends. We just need to bring those across further. Measure days from bottom to bottom. We saw the bottom here in November, speculatively, but it probably was the bottom. We can see the next bottom would be October 2026. And we saw the top, measure days from top to top. And we saw the top here in November 2021. And we can expect the top to be in around September or October 2025 for that reason. So again, top around September, October 2025, let's just say Q4, and bottom, the next bear market bottom will be Q4 2026, right? This is pretty easy to do with extrapolation of date range trends. The only thing that would invalidate this is if the bottom, in fact, is not in now, in which case we need to move that forward a little bit, but I think the bottom is in, and we're acting on the assumption that it is in at this point in time. But again, it's possible it's not. Okay, I'm not discounting it. It's definitely possible. We haven't broken 28.6K yet, which is where we need full confirmation for the bottom being in. That's once we break that, we're fully confirmed. But we haven't done that yet. So yeah, of course, it's still a likelihood that the bottom is not in. But at this point in time, we're going to be acting under the assumption that it is. And even if it's not in, sorry for stuttering there. Even if it's not in, we can still use the same formula, right, when it is in to determine the next top. Okay, so this is where we get into the real interesting stuff. We've established that the next top, the next bull market top will be 2025, Q4 most likely, early Q4. Okay, so what about the price? Okay, I've established a formula here. This is a formula I've used for a few months. I've made a couple videos on this, but I'm narrowing it down further here because I'm, the new bottom at 15.4K hasn't been put through this formula here, hasn't been ran through, but you can quickly read through the writing here. I'll go through it with you right now. I've basically taken samples on what Bitcoin has done from bottoms to halving in previous cycles. I've taken the current bottom at 15.4K. I've calculated the differences in percentage, right, and applied it effectively to create a new percentage, right? I've said that the speculated increase in price from bottom to halving on Bitcoin will be 155%. Therefore, a 155% gain from 15.4K would put us at 39K at the halving, which means, right, at the halving, which is in the middle of 2024, we would be at around 39K on Bitcoin. Interestingly, this lines up pretty well with what we established before on this trend here, right? We said we'd break 30K in August 2023. At the halving, which could be as soon as March or April 2024, we would be at around 39 to 40K. Which does kind of line up with our prediction on where we're going by December 2024, which would be a new all-time high. Okay, so this all kind of works together here. You're right, so it's good to see that they all kind of work together. So 39K at the halving, right? And then I've taken data from halving to top in 2012, 2016, 2020, right? And I've applied the percentage decreases and extrapolated that data. And we understand that now there would be a 432% gain from halving to top in 2024 to 2025. So I've taken that number 39K. I've added a 432% gain to that. And so now we have, 39K turns into 210,000, right? So that is the top. This is a very complicated way to say the top on Bitcoin as per the 4-year cycle theory, the way I understand it personally, and the way I've applied formulas to it, which is slightly subjective, would be at around 210,000 USD. Okay, so the 2025 top, Q4 2025, 210,000 USD. That is the speculative data. That is what the speculative data suggests at this point in time. So that would mean that in the first cycle for Bitcoin, we saw a top of 1,200. The second cycle, we saw a top of around 20K. The third cycle, we saw a top of around 69K. And the fourth cycle, we saw a top of around 210,000 USD on Bitcoin. Very interesting stuff, guys. So I'm going to be keeping you guys in tune with this. Once we break 28.6K, we can finally finalize that prediction. Right now, it's an observation based on speculative trends. Once we break 28.6K, which is when I'd be happy to say 100% confirmed the bottom is in. I'm not happy to say that at this point in time. I'm guessing it is, but I'm not happy to say it's confirmed, right? Once we break 28.6K, that's when I can confirm this as an actual prediction rather than an observation. But as of current, what we're looking for on Bitcoin is this. 30K around or before August 2023, okay? We're looking for an all-time high around December 2024. And we're looking for 210K on Bitcoin around Q4 2025. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Please stick around for this advertisement before we end the video of the Crypto Academy Exchange. The Crypto Academy courses. Obviously, a lot of analysis has gone into this video. If you want to learn how to analyze charts like I've done and like I've displayed in this video, you can check out the Crypto Academy courses. So we've got the Become a Trader 10-unit course, which is developed by myself and Mega Crypto. You can go on the website, which you can find a link to in the description or pinned comment below, and find the relevant information about the course, the bio. You can read about all the units we've got there, about the slides, the videos, the worksheets, and ultimately you can chuck us an email at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com, and we'll send you a full information pamphlet on the course, the price, how to buy it, what actually is involved in it on an intricate level. Again, check out the website, read all the information. If you're interested, throw us an email there. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.